Guys, gals, and fellow gender non-conforming pals, welcome back. I am C28. It's time for another vlog. Let's get to it. Yeah, it's Full Sail stuff again. So today in Full Sail, in lecture number 8, the last of the third week, the second last of all the weeks, we went over syncing and vocoding. Synchronization and vocoding is the name of the lecture. So, let's get started. The first thing we talked on was synchronization, and specifically time code is what we went into. So, I can sum up the entire lecture very, very quickly by saying industry standard timing is what we talked about. That's about it. But I could go further into it. And so we went over different types of timing for synchronization. So in this case, synchronization doesn't necessarily mean for sequencing. It means more so for getting your project in line with a mass media project. So if someone is sending you video and you are creating audio for it, or you're messing with audio, you're doing some edits to audio, well, they need to know what you're doing. You need to know what you're supposed to do in reference to where on the timeline. So there's a fancy thing called let me get the exact acronym here, SMPTE, or Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers format. And the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers format is pretty simple. Hour, minute, second, frame. 2-digit number, 2-digit number, 2-digit number, 2-digit number. To 8 digits total. 8-bit code. Binary. Funny how it works like that, isn't it? There really isn't a whole lot of interesting things to talk about here. There's a lot of less, I'd say, exhilarating things. Like, I personally think some of this stuff is useful, but it's not very exciting as much as, like, how to hook up different modular systems together to make them work and communicate and stuff, and why that works and how the pins work. And I just find different things interesting, I guess. But we went over linear timecode, also called longitudinal timecode, a way that you could encode your timing on a dedicated audio track. So something like, I was trying to think of the example. Shoot. Like tapes used to use it, if I'm right. Was it tapes, or did they use, I can't remember if they use MTC. I don't think they do. No, tapes did use, I think, linear timecode. Yeah, linear timecode. And there'd be on an actual tape reel, there'd be a specified area where you would actually have that timecode encoded, so you could tell where you're at, and the machine could read where it's at. Another variant you have is VITC, or vertical interval timecode, and that is for video specifically. In fact, if you can mess around with your screen settings on a television, that's the format, not this, and you can collapse down and give yourself more stuff to see. Eventually you might actually see that code, little white lines on a black background sort of deal, and that is the VITC. Now the final thing, the main thing we're using is MIDI timecode, MTC, and that is just the general thing of, like, how does my sequencer know the timing for this thing? How does, say, a more advanced MIDI system know when to play a note? How does Logic know when things are supposed to be played? All MIDI. And it would use the MIDI timecode as a digital format to send 10 byte data on where and when something is supposed to be played. I still need to study this. As you can see, I'm not very confident in my explanation of these things. I have some studying to do on my end still, but I'm saying what we learned like just a few hours ago. But yeah, and the other thing we went over was vocoding, but it was more so a talk on sidechaining, which is a much more useful, I think, thing to talk about than just vocoding in general. Vocoding specifically. So vocoding, some of you may know, it's not a talk box, it's not autotune, it's not Melodyne, it's a fourth thing where it's almost like FM synthesis, you can think of it as. So you can think of it like how on, let's pull this up. We'll do some FM. It may not sound outstanding, but let's see here. Cool. Alright, so we'll get just 2 oscillators here going. What is going on? Oh, noise. There we go. Cool. Alright. Make these the same one, same band there. Cool, that should work. Alright. So FM synthesis is essentially you take your one wave, which is your carrier wave, and you take another wave, which is your modulator wave, and your modulator wave is going to mess and fight with the carrier wave, and eventually you get your mixed wave, your final FM wave. So if I have wave 1, which is this wave here, and I get wave 2, which is this one here. Let's actually change it to a square wave. And I put square wave into the saw wave with FM in. We're gonna get some freaky stuff. Pretty wacky, and I can turn the frequency up here and you'll get even weirder stuff happen. So, yeah, FM synthesis. I'm going to push this up a few octaves. Yeah, it sounds funky, but essentially vocoding is a very similar concept, except the carrier wave is your voice. And you can think of it as a bunch of filters. So there's a fun little diagram I got on my computer here, which you might be able to see. Can I blow that up? Boom, blown up. Boom, boom, ha. And let's use this example here. So this little poster graphic. You have your carrier wave, which is typically a voice, but it doesn't have to be a voice. And the carrier is split into as many frequency bands as you want. And the modulator wave goes in, and you have envelope, or you have voltage control amplifiers here, so VCA is your envelope, and it is saying when the modulator hits that frequency, let this through. But if it doesn't hit that frequency, don't let it through. And you can have a bunch of different frequency bands, different thresholds and whatnot for how it works. All sorts of different... Stop. Let me turn you off, actually. There we go. No more sound from the matriarch. More on you later. But yeah, there's certain frequencies through from the voice that are the same frequencies that are found in the modulator. So it's a little bit different, but it's very similar to FM synthesis. Yeah. But you could do it with so much more stuff. So we went really deep into sidechaining, how you can use it as a means of, what's it? Creating rhythm. That was the phrase I was looking for. You can use that as a means of creating rhythm. Because you could have something like a gate. So you could have a noise gate that gets triggered when a certain noise goes off on another thing. So you could sidechain it, where it's not dependent on that specific sound that you're using. And whenever, say, a kick goes off, it lets it through. Or you could have a compressor. Whenever a kick goes off, it shuts it off momentarily. Or it could take a really long time to come back. And then stay there for a while. Or it could come back instantly and then slowly go away. However you want to do it. Compressors. Yeah, sidechaining is also very powerful. Allows you to do a bunch of different things, making things react to other things, making your whole system very modular, like this beautiful thing, but in a different way. And then most of my day was lab. I actually went to both lab sessions because lab instructor Lee Coombs was saying we should bring this in. And I brought it in. Well, actually, I was saying I'll bring it in. He said, yeah, do bring it in. But if you bring it in, go to lecture 1. So I have extra time. And I just stayed until the end of lecture 2. Not lecture 2, sorry, lab. Jeez, my word speeches are not working correctly. Maybe I need water. I'd be dehydrated. But using this in conjunction with all the other beautiful synthesizers in there, and I made some really fun things. In fact, 2 clips coming up shortly, I will show you those things. That's right. This is one of the vlogs that gets video editing done. Haha, fancy. We have a little SEQT logo at the end. So might as well just go on with it. So the very first patch I used, I was just really screwing around with stuff, seeing, okay, I've got the Mother 32 here, I got the virus, and I got the bloody System 1 what can I do to like make all these work together? And I made a thing that made pretty much all of them work together. I don't think I used the virus though, because it's not modular in the same way. But patch cables going places. Looked like this. Oh, it was pretty cool, wasn't it? Yeah. For me, that happened in a split second. For you, it took a couple more seconds because of the magic of video editing. And there was another one I made where it was more of a pad thing, and it was very fun. I used the concept of using the voltage, what the heck was it called? Basically ducking, using the compressor. I've shown this in a few pure production episodes, the idea of sidechain compression, but this is to an extreme where it now acts almost like a sequencer, but for rhythm, not for pitch. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool. It looked like this. Pretty cool, right? And there was another one that I haven't uploaded yet because I think I want to turn it into a video on its own, but it was just at the very end, I was like, all right, one of my favorite things to do is just plug random stuff in, random ins to random outs, random outs to random ins, and see what I get. So I did it, and I got bit. Just kidding, you don't get to hear it. Haha, get wrecked, YouTube. But I may post it as a video later. I probably will. And it's just this chaotic, awful sounding, horrendous thing that slowly I mess with it, and live, like it's one recording, one take, I just start playing stuff. And I go out of key sometimes, I go out of time sometimes, whatever, you know? And it gets less horrendous as it goes, and eventually start fixing things by moving wires around, moving dials around, and then I get into more strange harmonic and dynamic effects going on with the matriarch and other things. And eventually I get to the point where I start slowly ripping wires out and dials and turning things off until it stops making sound. And I rip it to death until there's nothing left. And it goes away and it dies. And I thought that would be a really interesting series. I forgot what would I call the thing, because I named the series that as well. Let me find it here. It was called Chaotic Death. So if you would like series of chaotic death, let me know in the comment section below. This is not the ending. It might be actually. Yeah, it is the ending, isn't it? So yeah, if you like more episodes of chaotic, or any episodes of chaotic death, where I just put an ugly sounding patch on here and then start recording, then figure out what the patch sounds like, and then slowly mess with it until I can make stuff out of it, and then slowly take it apart until it's completely gone. And it would probably be like 15 minutes. Maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. So a lot shorter than like synthetic designs and song a days. I think that could be cool. Be a whole new series. Chaotic Death. If you like that, you know, let me know. I'll probably do the first episode anyway, but then I'll ask you again if this is good. If it's not good, I'll stop doing it. If it is good, I'll keep doing it. You know, make you happy. Do fun stuff, weird stuff, strange stuff, creepy stuff. But yeah, that's about it. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to them, and I'll put them in a little space like here, in my face somewhere, and you'll be able to see your comment. I'll be responding to it right here in this format. That does it for this episode of Vlog. Take care of yourselves. God bless. And goodbye, YouTube.